Paz de Cristo, praise the Lord. We're excited one more time this evening to be with you guys. We want to thank y'all for being here with us as well. Les damos gracias porque están aquí con nosotros, viéndonos y listos para compartir una palabra de Dios o un mensaje. We're excited to share a message with you guys. Today or this evening, I'm accompanied by Sister Elisha and Brother Brennan.
Praise the Lord, guys.
Praise the Lord.
So we're excited to be with you guys. And our first topic for this evening is going to be, or it may also be our only topic because it's a pretty extensive one. So it's going to be about mental health. So I don't know if one of you guys want to start it off. Any thoughts on that?
I think, man, that's a good one. Good question. Mental health. I think a lot has to do with social media today. A lot of social media. And I've been telling a lot of people about this show on Netflix called Social Dilemma. It talks about social media, how it became into this world. Also Google how Google was built up. One thing about it that really stuck to me was like, say you're an outgoing guy. You go to a place and you can make friends. If just easy to make friends, right? But when social media came through, you go home, you're home, right? On your phone, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. But you're there all day, all night, right? For, let's say, about a year, right? And then you try to go out again try to make friends again, but you're like kind of like shy. Like it's easier just to like, hey, I'm gonna add you on Instagram. Mm-hmm. What's your Instagram, whatever. And then from there, it just started just a domino effect, just going like, depression, not wanting just to go out anymore, not to go see friends, Yeah. So that show really like hit me, and it's true, like a lot of social media is making us depressed, because it's easy to be on your phone, like your phone just TikTok, all right, too cool, some videos, Instagram, talking, whatever. Instead of going out and just fellowshipping, like me, before I was a shy person, like I wouldn't really like, but it was just me trying to, just get myself to go and be confident, just try to talk to people, tell them about Jesus, you know, and yeah, just that. But for sure, social media was a big impact.
Yeah, I feel like social media is a really big impact because right now, as I'm studying my career, which is like the law enforcement branch, I'm in an internship where I go to the Denton Police Department. I work with officers, and I go to Denton County Sheriff's Office, which I work with sheriffs. And when I applied for the internship, the first thing they told me was like, "Are you willing for us to look at your history of your social media?" And I was like, "Yeah, like I'm not hiding anything." And they told all of us like we had to sign a lot of papers. We basically signed our life away. And they looked at our social media, and they told us they're like, if we find something that you did like back then that's not okay, like you're not gonna be able to join this internship. And well, in my case, like I've never done anything like that, but like it makes you think. Like a lot of people think like, oh, like I'm gonna post this on social media, and I'm gonna block like los hermanos. I'm gonna block like youth people,
Right.
and like they're not gonna know that I did this. And yeah, like you can block us from viewing your story, but God still sees what you're posting.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep.
And so it has a lot to do with that because we think like, oh, like it deletes after a couple hours or it deletes after a day, but it actually doesn't. It stays there forever. Like what you post on social media stays there forever. And a lot of people think like, oh, it's deleted. Like, nobody's gonna see it again, but they're gonna bring it up. Like there have been times where like in our internship, there've been like, they brought up a bunch of things that a lot of people have done in the past, and they think that I was like, oh, like I'm gonna hide it. Like it's okay, and it's not okay. Like you hide it from us, but you cannot hide it from God.
Exactly.
So,
You know, I want to go back to real quick to what Brandon was saying earlier regarding that, like social media, right? Like sometimes it's easier to make friends on there. It's easier to socialize because you're behind a screen, and like even if you look through any videos on there or stuff like that, like sometimes it's funny because people say, "Oh yeah, you act really tough behind the screen, right?" and stuff like that. I mean, but it's kind of true because behind the screen, it's like we feel more comfortable to be able to express ourselves, right? And then like Brandon was saying, like for me, for example, like back in high school, back in those days, in a way, it was easier for me to be more social on social media than in person because in person I was socially awkward for some reason. Like I just couldn't like connect really quick unless it was with a specific, one or two persons. But then like, as you go on, especially not being in the ways of the Lord, like you can get really stuck up on that. Like you'll get anxious to start a conversation or to meet new people. But if you're comfortably behind a screen, then it'll make you feel a little bit safer for some reason. So it's important that we realize that and don't get comfortable sitting behind a screen, but go out there and make friends. Like Brandon was saying, we got to be willing to go out there and talk to people about God in person, and I feel like that's very important nowadays. So just regarding mental health in general, Brandon mentioned too about depression. There's anxiety, and those two big things are also killing a lot of population nowadays. Like it's killing them inside, and then in their thoughts. And I feel like, of course, it's mental health, so a lot of things are gonna go to your mind. And so whatever you see on social media or anywhere, like it's gonna go straight to your mind. Whatever you're feeding yourself, whatever you're seeing, it's gonna affect you in some way or another. So it's always best to just be careful what you're looking at. It's best to be careful what you're listening to and what who you're associating with. It's a lot.
Music, secular music. Like all now it is just bad words, drugs, women. Looking at women, lusting. All that just going through your mind, and it's. I mean, I'd say my generation. It's it's going downhill pretty fast. It is going downhill because of all this music that we're getting brought into our minds. I was that person that listened to secular music, and lusting, drugs, alcohol, all that just going through your mind, and you would think, oh, this thing's making me happy. It is, let me take a shot of this, or let me take a hit of this. Oh, it's cool because this is the cool thing to do, or people are doing it. But you thought you were happy, but really you're just killing your insides, your spirit. It's killing your spirit. I mean, you think you were happy, but I was not happy. When I got off of that, oh man, I got off of that. It just, I just opened up my mind, and my spirit was just more. I just wanted more and more of Jesus, more and more of Jesus, But yeah, just the alcohol and all these drugs. There's this fentanyl going on right now. Fentanyl, a lot of fentanyl. Killing these kids, and man. But, Jesus is just so good right now. It's just like I said, we got to do our job to go into the world and just speak of Him, share the gospel.
And that's also like, that's where addiction comes in because, at some point or another, I was stuck on that too. And I know some family currently, for me right now, personally, I have family members that I can see how much it affects them. Like, for example, if you're doing drugs, like I see this family member of mine, I'm like, man, like, he's very socially awkward, like, and then like if he doesn't have what he needs, then he's gonna feel anxious. He's gonna kind of like hide, like he's not gonna be himself basically because he feels like he needs that drug or whatever that addiction is to keep going to make him happy. But like as you said, Brandon, like that's not where happiness comes from because without it, are you happy? Are you gonna be happy at all times with it or without it? Like the most obvious answer is no because when you don't have it, you don't feel like yourself. And that's also like what happens with alcohol, right? Like you get drunk, you get in these feels, you get in these highs, right? And you feel like you're all happy, then you can be yourself. But in reality, you don't need that to be yourself. Like God has much more to offer for you than, what the world has to offer for you. So no drugs, no lust, no alcohol, no nothing can fill that void like Jesus does.
Yeah.
So,
And I feel like friends plays a big part in that. Because if you surround yourself with people who do these type of stuff, and you can be like, oh, like, I'm not going to do it. Like, I'm just going to hang out with them. Yeah, but you're feeding yourself to that. You're like, okay, well, they're like, oh, it's okay to do it. And, like, they're like, oh, like, do this with us. And, they're, like, tempting you to do it and stuff. So I really think friends has a lot to do with mental health because you need to know who to surround yourself with. If you surround yourself with these type of people, you're going to be like these type of people. And if you surround yourself with better people, you're gonna want to be better. And yeah, I feel like friends has a lot to do with it.
And a lot of like I said, one of the main drugs is marijuana. I got people saying, man, my anxiety is high right now. Let me just get high right now off of this marijuana. Man, my depression is is going off the sky roof. Let me smoke some marijuana right now just to calm me down. Like. You don't need that. You don't need that drug at all. You don't need no drugs, no alcohol, period. Jesus was saving me from all that. Amen. I am 8 months sober from all that.
Praise God.
I mean, it is recent, but I just like feel that I need to say it, for people to see like you don't need all that. You do not need drugs, no alcohol. You need Jesus. It's powerful, man. It is powerful. Like I said, I thought I was happy, in the world, doing what I was doing, but no, not happy at all. Jesus makes me happy. Reading the Bible makes me happy. Listening to Christian music makes me happy.
Yes, sir. And I feel sometimes when you are stuck on that, like, it's sad because people, especially, in the world that don't know about God, like, they will do anything to obtain that addiction, to obtain that drug, to obtain the alcohol, especially the drug, right? Because obviously it's not legal, so they're going to do more stuff to try to obtain that, like maybe rob or, get in fights, get in shootouts. Like, it's very dangerous. So, just try to avoid that completely, from the beginning because you don't need that. Like, the world may make it seem like, oh, it's cool, oh, it's fun, like, they might see us and see us like lame or you're no fun, but in reality, like, this is the best life that we can live.
Oh,
like,
man,
like honestly, Brandon, whenever I got baptized, bro, like, it was the best feeling I could ever have.
Yes.
Like, nothing compared to it. Like, that
Yes.
still literally is the best day. Like, the day that I gave myself to God, man. Like,
Yes,
I was literally so on fire and like so ready to just live my life for God. Like,
Yes.
it was amazing. Yeah.
This is the song that Feely recorded, Pastor Feely recorded. Adeli saying, so one of the verses goes, "The Christian life is not boring. We can go bowling. We could go bowling. We don't need no drinks to have fun. We went bowling what a couple months ago. Dude, we had a blast. I had a blast.
Yeah.
Like, but when I would go bowling with my friends, I would have to,
Yeah,
because they're
it's
getting drinks. Oh,
different.
it's different, But we went out, man. It was amazing. I didn't want to stop. Because the Varones was there too. The Jóvenes de Varones. You were there, right? Yeah, you were there. No, you weren't. No, you weren't there.
Yeah.
No, you weren't there. Sorry.
Also the other one.
You were the other one. But the Varones had left, and there was 2 lanes open, and it was just like you had 3 lanes here, 2 lanes here, and it was a lot of us, so we had to wait our turn, right? But I was anxious, like, let me keep bowling, So I'm over here on the empty lanes. I'm just bowling, and my arm was getting tired, but now I'm still bowling. But I'm telling you, man, it was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun without the alcohol. It was fun without it. You don't need it to have fun.
That's so true.
Fellowshipping
Yeah.
Yeah.
with your friends, having the Spirit of God in you. You don't need that. You don't need that to have fun. It is not fun with drinking. It's not fun at all. It's
Yeah.
dangerous. It is dangerous.
And I feel like a lot of people think like they won't suspect that we're doing that, right? Because we're like, for example, y'all are in the board. They're like, like they've never been through this, like, they don't know how it feels, and like a lot of like we all go through something, and I feel like in our lives we all go through a season where we're like depressed and anxiety. Like I know I went through that, and it's really hard, especially like in my life. It was really hard because my mom is Christian and my dad's Catholic. A lot of people are like, oh, you don't have a dad? I'm like, yeah, I have a dad. He just doesn't come to church. And so it was really hard for me when I was depressed, because I felt like I didn't have nobody to talk to. And so this one day it got really, really bad. Like, I'm not gonna say what I was thinking, but it was really bad where my dad, one time I was reading my Bible in my room, and he comes in and he closes the door, and I immediately start crying. Because I'm like, my dad is not the type of person to come and talk to me. He's very like serious and on his own. So he comes in, he talks to me. He's like, what's wrong? Like, what's happening? Like, your mom is telling me like all these things that you're going through, and like I don't know anything about it. And I'm like I don't want to talk about it. And it's really just because like I knew I wasn't gonna get anything out of it. Like I'm just gonna cry the whole entire time. And so my dad sat there in my bed with me, and I covered myself because I didn't want him to see me cry. And then he was telling me a lot of things. He was like, if you need help, like tell us, like we'll get you help. And at the end, when he stopped talking to me, he was like, I don't know what you do with church or anything, but I know that you pray, so pray. And that made me cry even more because like my dad he doesn't do the same things we do. So when he told me that, I'm like, he sees what I do. He knows what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And so that really touched my heart because like I'm speaking, I'm showing my family what's right, and sometimes they don't understand me, but it's something that you have to do.
And I feel like it's a false narrative when people see us, as Christians, like they're thinking that we're perfect, that we don't go through anything. Like that's false. Like, we still have our struggles, we still have our battles. And I was telling this one of our youth that I admire him a lot because he looks at me like a normal person. Like I know sometimes when we look at leaders like pastors or ministers, people of God, like in a way we're kind of shy to talk to them like freely, right? Like we're kind of like careful what we say or what we do or how we act. But I like this. I really like what this person does. Like he will just go up to me like a normal person, talk to me like without like me even being a leader or whatever it is. Like what, I'm still a normal person. Like I can connect with you. Like I can relate to you. Like a lot of things that you're going through, I probably went through too. A lot of struggles that you're going through, I probably went through too. So. What I'm trying to say is that don't be afraid to also seek for help or, to try to communicate with people. It doesn't even matter who they are or, what position they hold. Like, at the end of the day, they're still human like us. And more than likely, they've also went through the same thing because we all have a past. We all have a testimony that we can share that, can give you hope. So, don't be afraid to communicate and, talk to them like they were your friend, not just some type of leader that you kind of fear that you have to respect, that you have to follow. Like, no, like, I don't want to be like that. Like, I don't want to be seen that way. but I want to see somebody that it's on on the same level as you. Like I don't want to consider myself any higher or anything like that because at the end of the day, like I'm a human being as well, and I will appreciate just communicating with me, like normally because I want to be there for you. I want to support you. I want to be able to be your friend and help you out in whatever you need. Like especially if you need somebody to talk to regarding the mental health that any struggle that you're going through. Like if I can, I'll be there and give you the best advice that I can and stuff like that. So it's a very exciting topic.
Ask for help. Don't keep it in. Don't hide it. Don't be afraid to come up to one of us. Don't hide it. Ask for help. You need to ask for help. I asked for help, and God saved me. I prayed. I got on my knees and prayed. Like, Lord, take this away from me. Take this temptation away from me. I don't want it no more. It was in a dark place. I don't want it no more. And asking for help is it's amazing. You need help. Don't be afraid to ask for help.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people are scared to ask for help because they're like, if you go ask a hermano or hermana, they're like, oh, like you have Jesus, like pray, like he's gonna heal you. Yeah, he's gonna heal you. But sometimes you need to go out there and talk because you're like bottling up your emotions, and the more you hold it in, the more angry you're gonna get, and you're just gonna like leave it on other people. That's not their faults. And when I was depressed in my old church, my youth leaders, I never told them I was depressed. They realized because of the way I was acting. They knew because I would sing in my old church too, I would go up there and I would start shaking. And I would always tell them like, oh, it's just like I'm cold and stuff. But they knew that I was having anxiety. And so I would go up there and I would start shaking. And sometimes at that time, my youth leader was pregnant and she had just gave birth. So it was just me singing because it was like COVID times. So it was just me and, the guy, he would be like, you can do it. Like, I trust you. Like, I know you can do it. And I'm like, yeah, like, I know I can do it. But this anxiety is not helping me at all. And so one thing the girl told me was like, when you have nobody to talk to, write it down, journal it. And so I had this on my notes app. I had this whole, like, I could show it to y'all. It's really, I think I've showed it to you. It's really, really long. And I would just go and type, like, I'll be like, this is the date. I'll write the date, and I'm like, how I'm feeling. And I'll just leave it there, and then I'll pray afterwards. I'm like, God, this is what I need you to help me with and stuff. And it's helped me a lot. And every time somebody comes up to me and tells me, like, hey, like, how did you overcome that? And I'm like, I wrote it down, and I prayed. Because sometimes it's good to talk to people, but you need to know who's the right person to talk to. Because if you go out there and just talk to your friends, some friends are not gonna help you do better. Some friends are gonna like make you do something else that's not worth it. So it's just really knowing who you can talk to and stuff. And don't be afraid to ask for help. As Christians, we can talk to people. Like, you can go out there and seek for help. Like, it's okay. It's okay to not be okay. It's just not okay to stay that way.
Man, well, very good way to put that. Another thing I was gonna say is that maybe you feel like you don't have anybody for some reason, and if you do feel that way, like Lisha said, maybe do a journal or something like that. I was also going to suggest, maybe go out for a walk, go out for a run, working out, exercising, like that release a lot of stress too.
Right.
It can also liberate your mind from a lot of things that you're thinking about, that you're anxious about.
Right.
Like go out for a run, go out, play some sport or something.
Yeah.
Like Brandon was saying, we can do fun stuff too, like. He talked about bowling. There's also pickleball.
Yeah.
Pickleball was so
Oh,
fun.
man,
That one
pickleball
time,
was, that was my first time playing, man.
it was mine too. It was.
Dude,
oh
it
wait,
was-
actually
It
second
was
time.
fun. That thing was fun. I was like, you were like, let's hurry up. I'm like, why are we hurrying up? Well, we only got an hour. It's like, man, I wanted to pay some
It
more.
was
Yeah.
so fast.
It was fun. It was fun.
Yeah, but
Like, we had a good time. We had an amazing time.
Yeah.
And it was, there was some bars and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
But we didn't need that.
No, we didn't.
We didn't need that to have fun. We were
didn't
just,
even eat.
we didn't even eat. It was fun, man. It was fun. I'm saying it was fun without that.
Yeah.
It was fun. Man.
that's what I'm saying. Like exercise, playing a sport can help too. Like disconnect. Disconnect from that social media. Maybe you see stuff on there that's kind of discouraging you. Maybe you're comparing your life to somebody else's life. That it's also can be very dangerous to yourself. Like for me, the way that I put that is just be yourself. Like regardless of what other people are doing. Like even in the Bible, Jesus says that the path to salvation is narrow, but the path that leads to destruction is broad and it's wide. So even if you're the only one doing a certain thing and there's masses following another thing, like you don't need to follow that. Follow the cross, follow Christ.
Amen.
Even if you're by yourself, even if you're not with many other people, like still follow that path, and God will still provide you with people
Yes.
that can be with you, that can accompany you in that journey. So,
So you remember when we went to Wichita Falls for feeding the homeless? I mean, that was a good time too. There was this woman that was walking by. You remember this woman walking down the street, and we asked her, "Hey, what are you doing? Like, we got some burritos and come eat." I mean, it was cold. It was cold. Yeah, it was cold. So we had some hot chocolate, really good hot chocolate, and some sodas, lemonade. We had lemonade. So I remember I drank most of it. No, but this lady was walking down the street, and we were asking, "Hey, come on, we're having like a little, here's some burritos, whatever you need," and we had music playing and whatnot. She said, "No, I'll be back. I'm going to the store, and we'll be back." So okay, cool, and we're just listening. We were singing some music too. We were singing some music, and one of the brothers had a guitar. He pulled it out. He started singing, some songs, and she comes back. And we stopped her again, like, "Hey, come on, you want?" There's a lot left over. So hey, okay, so cool. We gave her some burritos and some drinks, and we asked her, "Hey, do you have any situation, in your life that we need to pray for?" And she did have a situation, and so we prayed, and this woman, man, she just cried. She cried, and it kind of broke me too. It broke me too, just seeing her, just we kept talking. After we prayed, we still kept talking to her. She was still tearing up, and but it's like that, like you say, like we got to go in the world. You never know what these people are going through, and just doing that. I mean, it broke her. It broke her. We were praying on her, and she was just, I'm talking about crying, but it was a good feeling too. It was a good feeling doing that.
yeah, like Pastor preached that Sunday, he was talking about the harvest. Like the harvest is ready, but the laborers are few. Like you were saying, Brandon, like there's people out there that need our help. Like they're desperate. Like they just need somebody to give them a word to let them know that God is real and that that He can intervene for whatever situation that they're going through. And I remember that lady that you're talking about. She specifically was going through cancer, so we were there praying for her. She started bawling. Like she was like, "Man, like thank you so much. Like I really needed this. Like y'all are such a blessing." Sometimes we gotta get out of our comfort zone. Like that's what it comes down to, right?
Yeah.
Like just being willing to be there for somebody. Like doesn't matter if you don't know them. Like
Like we stopped her twice.
yeah, like Jesus went out. People that maybe I mean he's God, so he knew all of them, but they didn't know of him. But he still went out there, and he gave us the same example to go out into the world. He gives us that command to go out and preach the gospel.
Right.
And with that comes wonders and signs and healings and whatever else people may need out there. Like Jesus is the way, he's the
Amen.
he's the truth, and he's the life.
Yes.
So, amen.
And I feel like sometimes when we feel depressed or with anxiety or whatever the issue may be, I feel like it's because we're not letting go of something. And I saw this TikTok, ironic. I saw this TikTok that it was this girl was like, I guess they were having like a Bible study, I'm not sure. But she had this girl hanging from something. And she was like, okay, just hang on there, right? She kept talking and everything. She comes back to her and she was like, it was in Spanish. She was like, ya te duele, ya te cansaste? And she was like, yeah. And then she was like, okay, and then why haven't you let go? And I'm like, wow, like that spoke to me a lot, because I'm like, sometimes we hold on to things. We can easily let go, but we don't want to because we love this thing, whatever it may be and stuff. But most of it comes from not letting go, and we have the power to let go of those things.
Yes.
So.
Definitely, like you said, I mean, it could be, any temptation to let go. Don't hold on to it. Like, you do not need that temptation. You do not need it.
Yeah.
It's hurting you more than you think. Like you're not, when you're into it, you're not in that moment, getting this hit or drinking this in the moment. It's like, you're happy, but after that, you're just like, I mean, kind of regret it. Like, kind of feel guilty too. Like. And then, the next morning, you're just like, just horrible headache and, whatever. But you just do not need that. You do not need that. let go of that. Like I said, let go of that temptation that's holding you back. That's holding you back. Let it go.
Yes, sir. Uh, Another thing that I want to share dealing with mental health is obviously the mind, the mental part of it. Like the Bible talks about, guarding your heart because thoughts come through your heart. It says in the Bible, like, just be careful what you let in your heart, and then because whatever goes in your heart, like it will affect your whole body. Your mind will start, meditating on that too. That's why also in Romans 12:2 it talks about, be renewed in your mind and follow the good and perfect and acceptable will of God, like it says in that verse as well. Like sometimes we just gotta like, okay, take a step back, gotta refresh, gotta let your mind be renewed because I'm sure everybody, before coming to Christ, their mind was full of so much, blasphemy, hate, so much worldliness, so much, not not good stuff, bad things. So you gotta, be cleansed of that. Like you gotta let go, as we're talking about here. You gotta let it go. You gotta put it down. You gotta put it in your past. Leave it there, because also like sometimes that past may want to creep up, but you gotta put a stop to it like completely, because if we're not careful, that thing could, those past things could creep back up to us. So it's always very very good to just guard your heart, guard your mind, because the enemy, like he'll attack your mind. Like he tries to send so many messages. He tries. That's where he's aiming at. Like he's aiming at your mind. He's aiming at what you receive and what you take in. So as long as we put, like the Bible says, to put on the whole armor of God, and that way we can resist the devil. We can those darts that he fires at us. We can have that shield of faith that it will reflect all of that. So yeah.
I feel like also like forgiving plays another big role, because we can be like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna forgive them, but I don't actually forgive them, and then you see that person and you're like, you still have so much hate towards
Still
that
holding that
person.
hate. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You're like, and then like a lot of preachers preach about it, like, oh, forgive, like you need to forgive, and yeah, you need to forgive. You can't just say, oh, like I'm gonna forgive this person, but they're not actually forgiving them. Like my grandma tells me all the time, because like one time something happened, and then I was like, you know what, like I'm gonna forgive them, but I'm not gonna like forget what they did to me. And my grandma would get mad at me. She was like, no, like you can't just do that. You need to forgive them, like fully forgive them and stuff. And yeah, because like when I went through something traumatic, and something that I don't talk to just to anybody, I had so much hate in my heart, but I didn't want to like realize it. I didn't want to accept it, that I had so much hate in my heart towards this person. And then I kept hearing stories from like hermanas and stuff, and then I'm like, you know what, like this is holding me back from so many things that I could be doing like good in life, and this issue wouldn't be an issue anymore if I would just be able to forgive the person and stuff. So yeah, if you need to forgive someone, this is your sign to forgive them.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. This topic can go very deep. There's a lot to discuss, and my prayer is, just if you need that help, that mental help, first of all, seek more of God. I know it can be kind of like a cliche thing that to say, especially coming from this kind of standpoint, but it's true. Like sometimes, oh, like we may say, oh, I already know that. Like, oh yeah, I already heard that. Like I've been hearing that a lot. I already know. We may think, oh, I already know the Bible. I've already listened to those kind of preachings. We can think that we can say, oh, I already know all that. And so, but it's true, guys. Like, even though we may have heard it, even though we may have looked into it, like it's still, that truth still holds. Like the Bible says that Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. So no matter what kind of struggles we go out throughout our time, like there's going to be different time periods. Doesn't matter what time period that you're in. Doesn't matter, what you're going through. Like God is still the same. Like the way that He works will still be the same, right? Like He's always going to be there for you. He's always going to take care of you. He leaves the 99 for the one. So if you're feeling lost, if you're feeling like you have no help, just reach out to God. It doesn't matter how many times you've heard it. Like it's still true. Like do a fast, pray, read your word. Like, but most of all, seek Him intentionally, because once you do that, the gates of heaven will start to open,
Yes.
and the blessings will start to pour down. So that's the best advice that we can give you, just to trust in God completely.
Yes. Open the door to Jesus. Like, a lot of these pastors say, Jesus will not invade you. You got to open that door. You got to open that door and let him in. Open the door to Jesus and let him in. Pray. Get on your knees and pray. Speak to him. Cry out to him if you have to. Sing. If you got any Christian music going on, just sing and praise him. Lift your hands up and just glorify him. He will come to your rescue. I'm telling you, he'll come to your rescue.
But I feel like you need to be consistent with it.
Yes.
You can't just do it one day and expect God to work. No, this is something you have to do constantly. If you don't do it constantly, then you're not going to see God work in your life. So I feel like that's another big thing, because we want God to heal us, God to use us for our ministries or whatever it may be. But what are we doing for that? Like, are we reading our Bibles daily? Are we praying? Do we have a prayer life? Are we fasting? And I feel like that has a lot to do with
Yes,
it.
fasting. Yes, fasting. It's rough. Fasting is rough. I'm starting my second week fasting now. It's rough. I love to eat, but fasting is just not about food though. Fasting could be social media. Because every morning I'll be the first thing I do. What was the first thing we do? Get our phones, right? And just look through, whatever. What story is this? Or who said this? Who said that? Hey, it's true. Like, I get up in the morning, I'm just like, but fasting fasting is food, of course, but also on your phone, your social media, whatever you're tied down to, fast.
Yes, sir. Well, that about concludes this evening's podcast, we could say, and we're very happy for everybody that was able to join us. We're going to go through the names real quick just to share who was able to be here. Hermano Gustavo, Hermana Betty, Pastor Gallegos was here, Gerardo Hernandez, Sister Hilda Castillo, Eliodoro Espinosa, Marisol, Sister Marisol Hernandez, Jose, Giselle, Brother Raudel, Hermano Jesus Contreras, Jennifer de Leon, Crystal de Leon, and Ivan. And that's about everybody that connected. And those that may be connected but we're not here, we thank you for being here as well.
Yes.
And our prayer is, keep staying strong, keep being in the faith. And we wish you nothing but the best, that God may bless your life.
Yes,
Jesus
amen.
loves you.
God bless you guys.
God bless you guys.